what's going on, guys? Welcome into the Bulls Report by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman. Do the San Antonio Spurs want Zach LaVine this offseason? We're going to talk about it on today's show as Sports Illustrated suggested the Spurs will be looking to target Zach LaVine once the season ends. And then coming up later on today's show, Coby White and Ayo Dosunmu have been absolutely playing their ass off as of lately. So we're going to be talking about them potentially being the backcourt of the future here in Chicago. But let's start it off. I do believe the Spurs, in the position they are at right now, they are going to be ultra aggressive this offseason. And the biggest reason for that is Victor Wembayama. Listen, they got him. I'm going to compare this to like a rookie quarterback contract in the NFL. Wemby is going to make around probably $60, $70, $80 million per year once he does sign that next contract. So I do expect the Spurs to take advantage of him take advantage of this rookie deal while they still have the chance. But what Wemby is doing this season is, it's just special, man. He's averaging 20 points a game on only 29 minutes a game. Keep this in mind. But he's also averaging 10 rebounds, 3.4 assists, and the defensive ability of Victor Wembanyama, I think he's already, no doubt, by far the best defensive player in the NBA, averaging 3.4 blocks in 29 minutes. That is absolutely insane. Then also 1.3 steals as well. And I honestly think the NBA might be screwed right now. I think we might have a chance or see in the future where it's Jokic, Wemby, and Giannis. Those three, and maybe even Luka if the Mavericks can figure it out over there in Dallas. Like those four international players absolutely taking over the NBA because Wemby, he passes the eye test. He's lived up to every little bit of hype he had coming from France this season. It's just looking dangerous. So I do expect the Spurs to be aggressive this offseason, and I think Zach LaVine could be a great choice for them. But before we dive into what Sports Illustrated had to say about a potential LaVine Spurs trade, I got to ask you guys to hit that subscribe button because if we get any more updates, any more rumors around Zach LaVine, I want to be your go-to guy. And hey, we're less than 47 subs away from 6K. So help us out. Lock us in as your go-to Bulls YouTube channel. All right, let's break it down. The Spurs are definitely interested in Zach LaVine, according to Sports Illustrated, and it makes a lot of sense for the reasons I was kind of just saying. I expect the Spurs, whether it's Zach LaVine or maybe a guy like Trae Young, but they are going to be looking for an elite high-level guard to pair up with Wemby for next season. So this is the trade I cooked up, and I do think the Spurs, they would be willing to offer this deal. The first-round pick I have them including is actually the Bulls' own first-round pick that is top 10 protected. So you just take the protections off it, pretty much send it back to Chicago. But the Bulls would also be receiving Keldon Johnson, Tre Jones, and Zach Collins. And you may be asking yourself, why those three players for Chicago? Well, it's going to be tough to match salary in this trade for Zach LaVine. He's going to be set to be making $47 million next season, and the Spurs don't really have a lot of big contracts. So that actually three-player combination was the only one where it would work out for the Spurs to kind of go team for team here in a trade for LaVine. And also, I wouldn't mind the Bulls getting a player like Keldon Johnson. I think he's got a ton of upside, kind of that typical 3-and-D wing we have in the NBA. But this is what John Kubasek had to say from Sports Illustrated on the Spurs trading for LaVine. He said, San Antonio has expressed interest in positionless basketball, but having a tried-and-true lead guard would not be a bad idea. LaVine has played point guard for the Bulls and excelled at it, which is also a good point. Carried on to say, pairing explosive athlete who can shoot with Jeremy Sochan and Victor Wembanyama would do wonders for their development. And a starting five of these three, Devin Vassell and Zach Collins, would help elevate the Spurs' playoff chances long term. And it makes total sense. Like, I think the Spurs, if you had to go into their offseason and said, what's the number one target for us? It's getting an elite, high-level, athletic, three-level scoring guard. Well, LaVine checks all those boxes, and I think they're going to be aggressive. They're going to be calling Chicago this offseason, and I don't blame them whatsoever. And obviously, we do know the Bulls are, willing to move LaVine. LaVine's camp came out and said they're willing to move on as well. So if this is the trade that goes down, I am probably saying yes to this deal. Obviously, you would want to get maybe more draft capital for Zach LaVine, but again, with his contract and just the way he's been playing as of late and just kind of his reputation, I don't know if you could get much more than this deal. But would you accept this trade? Give me an A for accept or a D for decline down in the comments section. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Obviously, a big-time blockbuster move here, but I do like what the Bulls are receiving, so I'll probably be typing my A for accept. Coming up next here on the show, Coby White and Ayo Dosunmu Are they the backcourt of the future here in Chicago? We'll dive into that here in a second. But first, I want to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. Today's show is made possible by Prize Picks, and they've got specials for new and returning users alike for March Madness when you head over to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Football season may be over, but the action on the hardwood is heating up. Whether it's March Madness or the fight for NBA playoff seeding, there's no shortage of high-stakes basketball moments this time of year. Get in on the excitement with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, where you can turn your hoops knowledge into serious cash. This is a lineup I'm rolling with for the March Madness starting today. They got a deal going on right now where Caitlin Clark, her point total is set at a half. I am taking that more. And then Jalen Williams, little brother, Cody Williams. I'm going to take more than 9.5 points for him. And then Isaiah Stevens, Colorado State guard. I'm going to take his more on 14.5 points as well. But whether you want to fade my picks or ride with my picks, do it at Prize Picks. March Madness kicks off tonight with the first 4 games, and you can pick more or less right now. Prize Picks is also giving us a free pick for Caitlin Clark's matchup this Saturday. Just select more than half points for Clark and pair it with another winner for 3x your money. Prize Picks is simple. You pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Get started now if you haven't already at prizepicks.com/CLNS and get a first deposit match of $100. Prizepicks.com/CLNS. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Link for that in the comment section and description of today's show. So let's dive into Coby White and Ayo Dosunmu here. They have absolutely been balling out the second half of the season. And, you look at Coby White's numbers over the last 34 games, averaging 21.2 points, 5.4 assists, 5.2 rebounds, shooting incredibly efficient from the field and from downtown as well. But honestly, I think it's Ayo that's impressed me more because I kind of saw this a little bit with Coby White. Maybe I didn't see the high scoring output of 20 a game, but I definitely knew he had the potential to be an elite scorer in the league. But I don't know if I saw this out of Ayo. I mean, the last 34 games for him, also following a big-time game last night versus the Portland Trailblazers, averaging 14.5 points, 4.1 assists, which is a career high for him. And then the efficiency from downtown has been unreal, shooting at 42.6%. And these two have just been special for the Bulls. Listen, I think if you had to give my #1 positive from this season, it would be these two taking that next step because I really do believe these two can be the backcourt of the future. I think their games complement each other incredibly well, with Ayo being the more defensive-minded guard and obviously Coby White being the more offensive-minded guard. They're both 6'5". They got really long wingspans, great ability to defend, and they can both get to the cup really well. But also, this is more reason to trade Zach LaVine. Once LaVine got hurt, it drove me crazy because the Bulls, you saw the just the usage and the production from Coby White and Ayo Dosunmu go through the roof, and then they decided to bring LaVine back for a couple weeks, and you sent Ayo back to the bench. More ammunition to move off Zach LaVine, and if I will say with the development of Coby White and Ayo Dosunmu, the Bulls got a real chance at the playoffs, man. I really do believe it. The Bulls, they got the third easiest remaining schedule, so you're going to still have to take care of business against a couple of bad teams, and this team has definitely struggled with doing that. Almost lost to the Trailblazers last night, and also they lost to the Pistons twice this year. So, want to take that with a grain of salt, them having the third easiest schedule remaining. But also this, the Bulls can beat the Pacers in a play-in tournament. We just saw DeMar DeRozan go drop 50 points on them and absolutely take over that ball game in Indiana. I could see him doing that again. Also in that game, Coby White got hurt, and he had his worst shooting night of the year. I think the Bulls, if they get Indiana in that 9-8 kind of play-in tournament game, and then with a chance to go play the Boston Celtics, I'd actually put my money on the Bulls. But you guys let me know. Will the Bulls make the playoffs this season? Let me know. Y for yes, N for no down in the comments. I'm probably 50-50 right now because, they're still the 9 seed. You're going to have to beat the Hawks, which I think they will, but I'm going to go yes. I'm going to stay optimistic here. I'll be typing my Y's with you guys down below. But make sure you guys are subscribed here to the channel. If we get any more rumors or injury news around Coby White here, because obviously, he is set to return here shortly. But if we get any more updates on him, we'll make a video for you guys ASAP. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, go Bulls.